Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, citizens of YouTube. This is Pastor Dow. And I'm here early this morning because a lot of people are asking, where are you at, Pastor Dow? Where are you at? I'm still here. It's just that we've had a lot going on here on the land. But let me go ahead and chime in. You know, the sad part about it is that we're sitting here watching this financial collapse taking place right before our very eyes. And I tell you what's appalling to me. Because when I sit up here and I'm watching, the gig is up. The gig is literally up. I'm sitting up here watching this Ponzi scheme have a meltdown right before my very eyes. And I remember, I can go back 14 years ago when I said that the United States of America is going to look like a third world country. Now, I know that doesn't go over well, in the conscious of men's mind. I know it doesn't go over well. And I tell you, it makes you sad when you see what's going on because we have a literal Ponzi scheme. It's amazing how that for the people, you go out and you break one little tiny law and stuff, and they'll do everything they can to throw the book at you. And what they'll do is they'll continue to keep mounting up charges and stuff, using fear as a motivator to extract more money out of your hands and stuff. But then you see these bankers steal trillions of dollars. And you see that none of them are going to jail. Jamie Dimon, Lloyd Blankstein, you watch all these so-called financial institutions, Bank of America, J.P. Morgan, Citi, HSBC. I mean, it's sad. You see what happened to Goldman Sachs, and I'm just sitting up here thinking, I tell you, how long are the people are going to remain in this utopia? We treat money, we treat the financial markets in this country, and the majority of people will not wake up to the truth of it because we want to believe the lie so bad. We want to believe it so bad. So we want to believe it so bad that we will hold on to it to our last breath because we want to. No matter the evidence that is mounting up, no matter, you can see it's a criminal syndicate ran by gangsters. No matter what, we will do everything we can to hold on to it. You know why? Because we want to preserve our flesh. We could care less that it's built up on lies. We could care less that there's no honor and there's no integrity to it whatsoever at all. It's just that mentally we want to believe it because it affords us a certain lifestyle and we don't want to change. Well, you're going to be forced to change whether you like it or not. And your mental assent is totally irrelevant because if you don't wake up and you don't see what's going on right now, you're going to suffer for not being able to have the discernment and the eyes to see in order to make changes. And we hold on to this sinking ship, this financial system, and we hold on with hope. Oh, we have so much faith. Oh, everything is going to work out. Oh, I believe it's all going to pan out. Oh, we have a few more years. All of these lies that we convince ourselves of. And you know just as well as I do the reason why Congress, the reason why the FBI, the CIA, and all the rest of the so-called police agents in America is not moved because they are all in the back pocket of the bankers and they're not about to arrest their brothers in crime. Because one person rats out one person, another person rats out another person, another rats out another person. You got to understand that a lot of these people are made men. And they're not about, with these secret societies, man, you talking about having your guts cast off into the bowel of the sea and stuff. If you ever reveal any of the secrets, these people are going to hold on to this thing to the very end. And the only people going to suffer for it is the ignorant people who refuse to hear this truth and to make changes. See, the whole agenda is to keep you in deception and to keep feeding your flesh to what you love hearing so that you don't make any changes. That's the reason why you see the reluctancy of all these people wanting to get out of paper and head over into tangible assets. Now, whether you like it or not is irrelevant if you get out of paper or not, because history is on our side. History shows us that the whole entire thing is going to reset, that everything is going back to silver and gold like it has always been for 6,000 years, whether you like it or not. Totally irrelevant. It's just a matter of time. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And that when is coming very, very closely. But yeah, why not? Why not sit up here and bite our nails to the quick and have anxiety attacks over this? Because we hold on to this Ponzi scheme and we let these raiders turn around and raid the wealth of people and stick people for their wealth. For years on end, I ain't never in my life seen anything like it, to where people can sit up there and break the law, rewrite the law, and now it's lawful for them to break the law and nobody goes to jail. And I'm talking trillions of dollars, not millions, not billions, but trillions of dollars. Just boom, gone out of nowhere. It's all about making a profit. That bottom line, isn't it? Well, do you understand the reason why that we hold on to this false sense of hope? Because, and if I can use this word, and I'll use it very loosely, we use the same plan of action when it comes to religion. There's not one thing about Christianity that is the truth, but you're going to hold on to it. You're going to grasp it. You're going to clutch it to your very last breath. No matter how much truth, no matter how much evidence is mounted up in front of you, no matter how much somebody tells you truth, you ain't about to change. And we have the same posture when it comes to this financial system. So, hey, now you tell me who's pessimistic and who's optimistic. You tell me. You tell me. Some of us, it's amazing. We can come to the truth and understand the truth, and we can see what's going on with the financial system, but we can't see the truth, what's going on with the religious system of this world, All of a sudden, Pastor Dow, okay, I'm right in this area, but I'm wrong in this area. No, how about I'm right in this area and I'm right in this area? Because I'm very slow about adopting a position, and before I adopt a position, that means I'm going to have to do a lot of diligent research and stuff. And I tell you what, and a lot of study and stuff, but most people are not willing to burn that oil in order to come to the bottom line truth. I'm going to tell y'all what our next step in marching order should be. Because on my radio broadcast, it's been coming up a lot lately. And most of you out there won't do it. You will not search out. You won't study anything. You won't do it. And I'm going to tell you right now, unless you become proactive and stuff, sitting behind this computer just listening to words and stuff, it's not going to motivate you. It's not going to light a fire up on your rear end and get you to change. You got to change this first before action would even take place. And most people ain't going to do that because we're lazy. That inherently, as human beings, we're lazy. We want to stay lazy. We don't want to change. We like our life of ease. And so if these people can rape, rob, murder, kill, steal, plunder, pillage, let them go do it. As long as they don't affect my little so-called homestead in my life, they can do whatever they want. But it's coming to a homestead and to a town near you. The idea of me making these videos is just prepare your mind and so you can start preparing. That's what it's about. Let me give you some marching orders here. There's a thing out there called Agenda 21, and it's been out there a long time. And I'm not going to sit up and sum up every little bullet point to you. I'm just going to paint a quick picture to let you know that there's no difference between the Democrats and the Republicans. As a matter of fact, look at what I got right here. I got a book right here by Jesse Ventura, and Jesse Ventura actually just lays it to the plumb line for what it really truly is. The Democrats and the Republicans, because that's what it is. We dealing with gangsters. We dealing with professional gangster who makes the rules, who makes the laws, who determines who goes to jail and who doesn't go to jail, who they're going to throw under the bus and who they're going to keep in the bus. It is just amazing, but that's what we got going on. It's a scheme. And maybe we ought to have the same thing when it comes to the Christianity and the rest of these religions in the world too. Maybe I ought to write a book and make me a cover like this. But I promise you, people love lies. They ain't gonna hear this truth. No matter how painful it is, they ain't gonna hear this truth. I ought to write a book about the truth about Christianity and the Israeli lie. That's what I ought to do. Israeli lie. But people ain't gonna do it. The Agenda 21 is about a land grab. It's about moving all the industrial nations, the so-called rich and wealthy nations, and spreading the wealth. So when you hear your president, Barack Hussein Obama, get up and says, we need to, we need to spread the wealth. We need to spread the wealth. You thinking because, in your conscience, the way you've been manipulated and training here in America, that he's actually talking about, we need to spread the wealth and probably, make the whole world a socialist environment and stuff. And everybody should be equal and people shouldn't have this extraordinary amount of wealth. That's what you thinking. When he's talking about spreading the wealth, he's talking about the same thing that George Bush Sr. signed on, Bill Clinton implemented, George Bush Jr. also signed on as well, and Barack Hussein Obama signed on as well. There ain't no difference between the Democrats and the Republicans. It's just you people blind. They give you the information that they want you to hear, and then they expect for you to make a decision based on what they have given you. And you still got your head stuck in the sand because you're not informed. These people are professional liars and professional gangsters. Just like these preachers in Christianity are professional gangsters. Especially these mega churches, they're all professional gangsters. Don't sit up and bellyache, moan, squall, and bawl when things doesn't work out the way that you think that it should. Don't do it. Because it's not going to work out the way that you should. You're going to have to inform yourself. You're going to have to become proactive. You got to get off your lazy fourth point of contact. And all you people out there that are paratroopers, you know exactly what I just got finished saying. But the whole thing is about spreading this whole world. And they always use environment. Everything is the environment. Everything is in the environment now. But sustainable development is nothing but just another name for Agenda 21, in which they're planning on, hey, this earth cannot sustain, by their doctrine, 6.5 billion people. Now, it can't do 1 billion people, but you know what? We want 500 million people on this earth. And the only way you can bring the earth to that kind of numbers is called nuclear holocaust. That's the only way you can do it. Only way you can do it. And so war has always been the agenda. It always has been, always will be, because that's how the industrialized nations of this earth make money. So they're not looking for no America, no Europe, no Asia. They're not looking for none of that stuff. You know what they're looking for? One world. That's it. And you and I ain't included. Now, you're still going to have rich, poor, because poor folk, some folk got to get out there and cut the lawns. Some folks got to dress the vineyards. Some folks got to butcher the animals and stuff. But the rest of the folks, and somebody got to build these buildings. But the rest of them, they're going to stay in these sealed houses and stuff. And you have to understand the mind of man and the way that it operates. How in the world can you come to the truth about the financial system in this world and how corrupt it is? Don't you notice that banks are doing everything they can now to try to get people to refinance their homes? You know the reason why? Because they want to cover their tracks. Because of selling all of your mortgages on the world market, kind of like they sell you as a commodity in a futures contract by the number on your birth certificate. Let me give you one more example. When you get pulled over by police, and you have to understand the police may even be stupid and ignorant to this as well. But when you get pulled over by the police and they start asking you a series of questions that has nothing pertaining whatsoever at all to what the so-called reason why you're being pulled over. And they ask you, do you understand? And you reply, yes. Do you know what you just got finished acknowledging? Do you know you just got finished saying? You just got finished making a binding legal contract, which you have said, whether you are ignorant of the fact or not. You just got finished agreeing, yes, I stand under your authority. And you don't know, well, I didn't know that, Pastor Dow. You know what? I don't know everything, but the things I do know, I really concentrate on the things first and foremost that has to do with my soul. I worry about the preservation of this life. That comes second and third and fourth, way on down the line. But first and foremost is the self-preservation or the preservation of my soul and those who hear me. And that's just the truth. But we got this thing all backwards. And there's like people, they'll fast, they'll pray, they'll fast, and they'll go on all these diets when it pertains to the flesh, but they won't go on a fast in order to break the band of wickedness that's got a hold of their mind and their body. They won't do it for that purpose and reason. But I tell you, we broke. We are a broke society, naturally and spiritually. So the people out there do not want to hear myself, SGT Bull 07, Vision Victory, J Snip 4, my brother J Snip 4, they don't want to hear us talking about the financial markets. They don't want to hear us talking about you're going to have to get some silver. You're going to have to get some gold. They don't want to hear that because it's not what they're interested in. They want to keep this world, this Atlantis, the way that it's so-called been functioning right now, afloat as long as they can. That's what they want to do. That is what they want to do. And because they want to do it, they're going to ignore everything that has been said or true. They're going to search out and seek out the people who say what they want to hear. Ain't that how you people do in Christianity? You search out and you seek the people who tell you what you want to hear. I'll say it again. I'll challenge any one of your pastors who has a church, not some of you lay people who think you know something. I'm talking about these pastors who has a church and a congregation. I'll challenge any one of them on the three main pillars of Christianity, which are to be Sunday, Christmas, and Easter by the King James Version of the Bible. Let's see how many takers I get. Let's see how many takers I get. We'll find out what the truth is. I guarantee they don't want. I guarantee I won't get nobody stepping up to the plate. You know why? Because it's a Ponzi scheme as well. But if you don't want to stay blind to it and you don't want to know the truth, you're going to support the scheme because it supports the way that you like living. Same way with the financial markets. And we'll put more into what the natural flesh mind or flesh man is rather than our spirit and our soul, which is going to live forever, whether you receive it, like it, or not. I've been on the other side, but you know what? It's utterly remarkable and amazing. Well, people will chime in saying, you know, we want to hear from you, Pastor. So, well, now you hear from me. You still want to hear from me? Hey, let me tell you something. You better start making changes to preserve yourself. Because now, at the end of this month right here, it looks like Barack Hussein Obama. That's why it's called the General Assembly or the Order of the UN and stuff. They're talking about signing again. Can you imagine signing some document and stuff? Signing some document stuff and trying to turn around and place us under the control of the UN? It's remarkable, isn't it? Now, I mean, that's what they're talking about doing, brothers and sisters. Huh? Ladies and gentlemen. I told you, this is a new world order. George Senior told you that way in the 90s. Told you that. And some of us are still looking at TV, watching America being destroyed right in front of our very eyes. Only a few people, or only a very few people have the spirit of patriotism in them to try to preserve what's left of this so-called republic. Because we're far from it. I wonder what you're going to do when your ability to resist is just totally stripped from you, because it almost is now. What can you do against this system who the police force is set up to preserve the people? What can you do when these people even refuse to enforce the law themselves? You know what that means? That means as a people, when you got people who write the law, supposed to be enforcing the law, and yet they are defiant towards the law, whether we like it or not, that means all the people are going to have to get together and we're going to start walking after our own rule of law.